You know, I I've been watching this stuff since I was 8 years old, 7, 8 years old. That's the earliest I can remember. Um, one of the first events that I saw that I remember seeing anyway was WrestleMania 3. Uh, I remember it came with the VHS tapes. It was like the two tapes because so much action you couldn't keep it on one tape. And I remember I watched it and I would fast forward. It's funny because I would watch the guys come in. I'd watch like the first 5 minutes of the match, and then I would fast forward to the end because it's all I really cared about. I was young, and I remember watching, like Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant. That was the big match, and right there I was hooked. I was hooked. I don't know what drew me into it, but I knew from that day on I would be watching this bizarre form of entertainment. You know, this fake gladiatorial fighting. And you really think it's so simple. The story is so simple. You write it as if it's, like a medieval play or a medieval story where it's the easiest way to do it. Just you go back to like when McMahon was running everything. He was the evil Mr. McMahon, and he was putting the people that he wanted as champion in the front, and he was the bad guy. He was the evil king. And here you had Steve Austin, who was playing I wouldn't call it a good guy, but people loved him. He was fighting the evil king. He was the hero. And the evil king would throw guys at him to stop him, and he would defeat them. It's such an easy concept. I don't see why they screw it up. Um, the reason why I started this video the way I did was because doing research on topics to discuss, I came across one that I forgot about. One that I blissfully forgot about. This one, no doubt, was one of the most embarrassing, downright disgusting things they ever did. I say one of, because there's been a lot. But this was the one that made me really question, the fuck am I doing watching this? You know? It's one of those moments where somebody walks in and, like, you're watching this and somebody walks in and sees what's on the TV. And they stand there and they watch it and they look at you like, really? You're watching. This is what it's all about, and you're like, yeah, yeah. It's almost like your parents walking in on you while you're doing your self gratification. You can't explain it. You don't want to explain it. You just want them gone. Okay. I'm I'm going to talk about an angle they did with Kane, Triple H, and a young woman by the name of Katie Vick. Pardon me. If you don't know who Katie Vick is, don't feel bad because she's not real. She's not a real person. Or she might be. There might actually be a woman out there named Katie Vick. There is, I apologize. But I don't want to talk. I don't want to talk about this. I really don't. But it's one of those things that you don't want to talk about. But in some ways, it's kind of therapeutic. It really shows you. It really makes you wonder what kind of a person Vince McMahon is. And how he is able to have as much money and much success as he did. Or how he does. Because, once again, I brought this up many times, but I will keep bringing it up because it is very important. There is nothing on that show, Raw, SmackDown, whatever. There is nothing on those shows that Vince McMahon does not give a thumbs up to. If they want to put it on TV, Vince McMahon has to say, yes, we will do that. If he doesn't want to, he's not going to do it. So this segment, this whole angle, got on TV. Vince saw it, saw the paper that it was written on, and said, okay, we're going to do this. And that really makes me sad, because God damn it. Alright. I will go on record right now and say everything I'm about to say, everything I'm about to tell you is 100% true. This happened. This was put on TV. Just like this. I'm not going to get into the whole part of how Kane got involved with this, but I'll talk more about that later because I do have quite a bit to say about Kane and just his evolution. But sometime in, I'm not sure exactly when. I want to say sometime 2002, 3-ish. But this was back when DX came back, and they were with Vince McMahon. And beforehand, Kane had a girlfriend by the name of Tori. Now, Tori Wilson, just Tori. And Kane still was doing the gimmick where he was wearing his mask because he was horribly burned in a fire. That was his gimmick. He was horribly burned, horribly scarred, just terrifyingly ugly. And one would wonder, actually, how a man like Kane could get a woman. But, on the other hand, you think, well, it's, looks aren't everything. Like I said, Kane went through so many evolutions. He was just this unspeakable, faceless, Michael Myers-esque killer. Then he started talking with a voice box. Then he just started talking regular. Yeah. But, of course, Kane and X-Pac, Sean Waltman, had a match where if X-Pac won, he would get Tory services for 30 days. They basically ripped off the Brian Pillman Goldust angle, which I forgot to talk about in my real world versus wrestling world segment, where apparently you can put up a woman in wrestling, her services for 30 days. So if I was out with Ashley and some dude in a bar was talking to her, I could, and this is the wrestling era, or wrestling world, I could conceivably challenge this man to a match and say that if I don't, or no, he could challenge me. And he says if I win, I get her for 30 days. Like, she has to come be with me for 30 days. I would graciously accept that because I am an honorable gent, and I am more than willing to put up my girlfriend for some dude. Like, I am so confident in my abilities that I will put up her as a trophy. Yes. That was an angle. They did this a lot. But X-Pac wins through shenanigans. Or hand jobs, as my friend Tiffany would say. Her phone auto-corrected shenanigans into hand jobs. Explain that. But, so Tori went with X-Pac. And she eventually turned on Kane. And somehow Kane just started feuding with Triple H over the world title. Pardon me. Wow. That was a brew review burp right there. But they're feuding. And, okay, now you're Triple H, and you're thinking, okay, how can I screw with this guy? Because I'm the cerebral assassin. I'm going to fuck with this guy's head. So, one night, Triple H comes out and says, Kane, I know about your girlfriend. And I'm not talking about Tori. I'm talking about your first girlfriend. You remember the name Katie Vick? And your first thoughts are, who the fuck is Katie Vick? And secondly, how would Triple H know this? This isn't me nitpicking. This is an honest-to-God question. Let's say that this is true. In storyline, it is true. But okay, Kane comes out and he spills the beans. He says, it was a Katie Vick. She was my girlfriend. And one night, we were involved in a car crash. And I made it out, but she didn't. He's like, I had a little too much to drink, and I crashed the car. And that was the big deal. That Katie Vick was his girlfriend, and he killed her. Okay. Let's just stop there and go over this whole thing with a fine-tooth comb. I am to believe that Kane had a girlfriend, was involved in a car crash with her, and she died. Okay. I could buy that. I could also buy that that's how he got scarred. That's why he's wearing the mask. But that's not why he's wearing the mask. He's wearing the mask and is scarred because the Undertaker burned him alive when they were kids. The Undertaker burned down the funeral home that their parents were at, and Kane was caught in the fire. That's the story. That is the story that we were told when Kane first came in. So now, you're expecting me, the average wrestling fan, to believe that Kane, who had been physically, mentally, emotionally scarred from this traumatic event, somehow found the time and the ability to find a girlfriend, get involved romantically with this woman, drive a car, and kill her. You're telling me Paul Bearer, who sheltered Kane away for all that time, 15, 20 years, to gain vengeance on The Undertaker, who, by the way, if Paul Bearer had really done this, this was the greatest Machiavellian scheme ever. Because Paul Bearer was managing The Undertaker this entire time. He was hiding Kane from The Undertaker. And what? Was going to use Kane against The Undertaker. But they were managing... He was managing Taker. I just blew your damn mind, didn't I? Because I blew mine. Okay. So Paul Bearer. Paul Bearer let Kane go out, find a woman, get romantically involved, get into a car, and kill her. Okay. Assuming I'll believe all that. I will believe all that you just put down in front of me. Okay. Now here's another question. How did Triple H find this out? Did he talk to Paul Bearer? I don't think so. Because Paul Bearer, around that time, came back and was with Kane. Because they had put Kane in a mental institution. Again, gotta follow me on this one. And Paul Bearer busted him out. This, of course, was after Paul Bearer had betrayed Kane with The Undertaker, had him committed beforehand, because it was determined that Paul Bearer was Kane's father, but Paul Bearer went back with The Undertaker, who was doing the ministry thing, and Kane became a good guy, and they committed him to put him out of the way. Oh my God. I am so fucking confused right now. I could do an entire episode of just Kane and The Undertaker. Oh my God. I would need a chart for that to kind of plot all that bullshit. I'll do that. But we're not talking about that right now. We're talking about Triple H and Kane. Because... Alright. Somehow, some way, Triple H finds this shit out. And Kane comes out and he openly admits to what happened. He did the honorable thing. Okay, fine. You would think that would be the end of it. That Triple H had gotten to Kane in his head, and he was just going to use that as momentum going into their match. You figure, okay. But no. Instead, Triple H decides, I'm going to do one better. I'm going to go out there and tell the world that, Kane loved Katie Vick. He loved her so much that even when she was dead, he loved her. Both mentally, emotionally, and physically. Yeah. They're going here. Triple H accuses Kane of necrophilia. Yeah. This is a show that had Mark Henry getting freaky with a transvestite. This was a show that had Mae Young at 133 years old give birth to a rubber hand. This was a show that had Terry Runnels fall off of the apron and have a miscarriage. But it was then discovered that she was never pregnant. But they're bringing miscarriages involved in it now. None of that shit bothered me. It should have, but it didn't. But now we're bringing necrophilia into it. Yeah. And that's not the worst part. That's not the worst part by far. Because it's one thing to say it, but it's almost like, well, we can do this better. We can one-up this shit. So, Triple H, they film him going into a funeral home. And he's wearing a Kane mask. And he opens up a casket in this funeral home. Inside is this mannequin. And I don't know if she has the name, like a sign or something that says Katie Vick, but if she doesn't, we assume that it's Katie Vick. As I said before, this happens. Everything I'm about to say happens. But Triple H, dressed as Kane, he starts feeling up the mannequin, because that's Katie Vick, and he's playing Kane. And Triple H proceeds to strip down and have mock sex with this mannequin that's in a casket in a funeral home. Because remember, he's Kane. He's dressed as Kane. Kane is a dirty fucking pervert who likes to fuck dead bodies, according to Triple H. Yeah. Humor. Done. I don't know. I hope people that are watching this, I hope they're laughing at just my reactions to everything, because this is why I do this show. I do this. I do these stupid videos to entertain, make people laugh. You know, I've said this before. I don't know if I've said it on camera or not, but I've always said that, you know, you could be having one of the shittiest days of your life. You know, your job is getting to you. You know, relationship problems, stress, whatever. I've always said that if anybody would just watch one of our videos, and if we can just make you feel better for 10, 12, 15 minutes, I've done my job. And Dog probably feels the same way. We've done our job. If we make your day a little bit better, we make you laugh at our stupid antics, we've done what we set out to do. I never started making these videos so that like Vince McMahon or Stephanie or Triple H would watch and be like, oh my God, look at what we're doing. I never did that. I started this because I used to love this thing. I love this thing called professional wrestling, and to see what it's become, to see what it's been reduced to, is depressing. It's so depressing. It would be like watching football your entire life, and then one day they come on and say, okay, next football season, you're not allowed to tackle anyone. You know? It's just a really drastic change. You're not allowed to tackle anybody. There's your football right there. That's your new football. What the fuck's the point? It's from now on, the NFL is two-hand touch. From now on, that's pretty much how I feel about wrestling. If I was a rabid football fan, and the NFL said, okay, next season is nothing but two-hand touch, I'd be pissed. And that's how I felt about this. That I can honestly say that this was the only time in wrestling that I watched I was totally fucking offended. I was offended. I was embarrassed to call myself a wrestling fan. I was just fucking disgusted at what I was seeing. I was seeing a grown man having mock sex with a mannequin in a casket in a funeral home because it was supposed to be Kane fucking his dead girlfriend. I don't find it funny. What else can I say? I'm sure there's people out there that probably laugh at it. I didn't. I don't find necrophilia funny. I don't find bestiality funny. Maybe that's just me. I don't know, but they they wanted to. I don't know what the fuck they wanted to do. I really don't. But whatever that was supposed to do didn't work because they had their match, and I think that's all they had was one match. They didn't do much after that. And he, God damn. Just imagine if you hadn't seen that, if you've never heard of this before, just imagine watching that for the first time. Like, you're literally watching this, and like your parents walk in, or your wife or your girlfriend walk in, and they don't understand wrestling, but they just accept the fact that you love it. How do you explain that? How do you explain Triple H dry humping a mannequin in a casket? You don't. You can't. There's no way. God damn it. I don't know what. I'm sorry if you're not getting a lot of laughs out of this one, but when I saw this, when I got reminded of this, it just blew my damn mind. I'm like, oh my god. I gotta talk about this. I gotta. Like I said, this is the only time in wrestling that I was just deeply offended. I literally turned the channel when this was happening. And I've never done that before. Ever. Not for wrestling. But Katie Vick did it. Katie Vick broke me. And thank God they must have ended this angle prematurely, because I from what I understand, they got a lot of flack for this. I mean, even you would have thought they got flack for the transvestite or giving birth to a hand. Nothing on this, man. This wasn't even crossing the line. It damn well should have been. But I don't know. I'm sorry this wasn't as. Who knows? It could have been funny. I don't know. But I've had 2 beers and I'm feeling pretty good right now. I haven't eaten all day. So, Katie Vick. I would say look it up, but no, you don't want to. Maybe you do now. Go ahead. You know what? Just go ahead. Look up Katie Vick on YouTube and see what you get. It's fucking embarrassing. It's a fucking embarrassment to wrestling. And Vince McMahon let it happen. That's the funniest part. Vince McMahon let it on TV. That's all I got. Sorry it wasn't as funny as it could have been, but I don't find necrophilia that funny. I had actually a really good idea given to me. I'll probably talk about the Divas next, and in order to talk about the Divas, I'll probably have to do something I don't want to do again. But I don't know. I'll figure it out. But I've been rambling. I'm half buzzed right now. So thanks for watching, guys, and Katie Vick. Katie fucking Vick. That's all I have to say. I'll see you later.